we have all been past this building hundreds of times in Springfield. Of course, an old building always has stories. Of course, there's the story of what goes on in here, and there's the story of what sometimes goes on in here. Let's go take a look. You gotta come on in, come in. You know, a place like this, of course, many stories, some big, some small. I've got Steve and Philip here with me. Steve, tell us what goes on here at National Audio, the big picture.
All right, Tom, well, we have 132,000 square feet here, and we are the world's largest manufacturer of audio cassettes, and we manufacture our own audio cassette tape beginning next month. That's one story. That's not the story you're interested in today.
Right, that's the big story, but you've got a lot of little stories.
We have a lot of little stories. And
think you guys can tell us about these?
We'll do it. A lot of unexplained things happen. We'll get into those stories.
Let's go.
All right, you ready? Well, Tom, this storeroom here doesn't look like much of anything, and we don't use it.
Yes, it does.
We don't use it much now, but several years ago, we used to hear a noise here in the building. It would be like rumble, 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 thump. Rumble, 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 thump. Rumble, 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 thump. So always the same. You would hear whether you're here at night or in the daytime, and nothing that we were doing was making that noise. And we all agreed we heard it. And then several years ago, somebody was digging around through this storeroom. We hadn't even been in here since we bought the building, and they found an old freight cart, sort of like you'd find at the train stations years ago.
The old flat.
The old spoked wheels and all that, built by the Springfield Wagon Company back in the 1880s or 90s. And it was a push cart. And so we thought, wow, that could be some use to us. So they pulled it out, and when they pulled it out, as it rolled across the floor, it went rumble, 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 thump. It had a flat spot on one of its wheels.
Oh my.
And this dates from back when the building was near new, and we've used it ever since. We put a new wheel on so we don't have the thump part of the rumble rumble now. So that's one of the odd stories. A lot of the things here in this building aren't really ghostly, they're just strange and unexplained like that.
Okay, Chris, we've heard a couple of stories about things that have gone on in this building. You've personally experienced something. Tell me that story.
Well, I was cleaning some parts over here, working on one of the mills that we have, and I had an interesting experience where, doors shut behind us, and heard someone come in, but the footsteps, not the door open, and someone walked up next to me, and I thought it was Eric or, someone else who works on the floor with me, and I turned to look at them, and no one's there. So I then stand up to walk around and look around the pillar, like maybe they stepped around the corner or something. Yeah, no one was there, and turn around and look, the door's still shut. So I'm like, okay, that's quite interesting that someone came in to say hi, but didn't, hang around to get talked to.
Ray, now I know you had something happen to you here. It's kind of one of those, I don't know how. Tell me that story.
I went up to do some inspection on the 9th floor up there. And when I got up there, I was looking around, and I thought, well, I'm just going to walk around. But when you go up, you usually just shut the elevator doors, and you're done. Walk around, and I was looking around. When I come back around, the doors were open. And I got kind of spooked about that. So I thought, okay, I shut them and walked back around, and I caught a glimpse of a fellow walking around. And when I got back up there and I thought, well, I'm going the other way. So I went the other way, and there was no one there. I described to Steve what he looked like, and he told me that was a gentleman by the name of Archie. That's him.
This is Archie.
This is Archie. This is the fellow I seen up there.
When we first moved in here, 1997-98, we were restoring the lighting circuits and so on, and we had electricians in here working on the lights. Right. And so they were up here with the scaffolds every day working and rewiring and making sure that all the conduit was proper. And as I went out the side door that night, I heard a big metallic crash. One of these light fixtures that you see with the metal housing and, and the reflectors, one of those had pulled loose from the ceiling and was bent, the conduit was bent almost at a right angle, and the bottom of that fixture had hit the floor. The electricians came up and they said, what happened? And I said, well, I don't know. I thought you guys might tell me. Did you leave one of them unbolted? No, they were all up when we left. They said, we can't figure out how those would have pulled out. And then they said, let us show you how solidly these are anchored. Each one of them got up there and grabbed the conduit at the opposite ends of the fixture, jumped off the scaffold and just hung there. And they said, that's 400 pounds of Twinkies hanging on that light fixture, and it didn't pull it loose. We never figured out what happened there. So that's the only strange thing that we've had on this floor.